Advanced Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Thank y'all for tuning in. Another episode of Real Talk. Today, we got Mr. Nate the Great. How you doing, Nate?
I'm excited. There's something I found earlier today that we'll get to it later, but it just kind of bugs me. But we'll get to that later.
Grinding your gears, so to speak, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Rubbing Nate the wrong way today. We got him excited. But we also sitting here with Mr. Kenny himself. What's going on, man?
Same old different day. I had a little technical difficulties, but I'm here, ready to talk some hoops and ready to talk some football. So let's get to it.
Yeah, you guys know how I'm feeling this morning. I mean, my boys was on center stage last night and performed Mr. Excelente, as they call it, So
All right, they're about to be on later on tonight too.
Yes, it is. We ain't gonna miss it.
Back to back,
right? So yeah, I'm feeling good, but definitely, man, there's a lot to talk about, so we can go ahead and jump on into it. There's a couple of people that got some rants to get off their chest tonight, So I'll let Kenny actually go ahead and jump this off right off the bat and get us a little pressure. Throw a little pressure.
Oh, I don't really have no rant. I'm just, I'm just pulling up receipts because, we have a certain someone by the name of Freddie Henderson who stars on a show called that's supposed to be about telling the truth, and he's just, you know what I'm saying, and he's just out here not telling truth.
Just
So
tell the truth.
Yeah, it's just you gotta be exposed when you're not telling the truth. This man was on his show talking about he was ready for me and wanted to see me and this, that, and the third. And here it is, right here, right in front of your face. The matchups for this debate off that's happening next week. You can see on one side where the first matchup is we were going at each other. Then if you look to your left or on the opposite side, he changed the matchups. So to me, that looks like you don't want no smoke. Or you ducking that work. You know what I'm saying, Jay?
Yeah, he got a shot fan blowing the smoke the opposite direction going on right now.
Now to be fair, they took Trey. I will say this. To be fair, he took Trey off because he couldn't do the debate because
But Trey had nothing to do.
Yeah,
right. Right. He changed the matchup. That didn't change the match. It would have been different if me and Trey was matched up. Trey don't got nothing to do with that. He went from going up against me to changing up to Chris Mabry. So that has nothing to do with it. So he gotta wear that. Like, listen, if you ducking it, if you backpedaling, pulling the hamstring, backpedaling because you don't want it, and just come out and say it. Listen, I'm just
clearly
superior.
looks like he hit the floor because he heard a loud noise or something.
Wow.
It clearly looks like that. I mean, look, I already know. Freddie, he does this, but when the smoke comes around, he disappears right into it. I know he's listening. I know he's probably right there in the comments with his head.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll pop his fat head in here at any second. He'll try to jump in here, being all loud and just blowing smoke. But the jig is up. You've been exposed. Yeah. It is what it is, man.
Hey, you know how Batman got them little smoke pellets? Freddie be hopping out like pow, pow, pow.
So far, this is the only comment.
Oh yeah,
my guy. What's up, Mike?
Mr. Basketball. No, but let's move on. Let's move on. I mean, I'm gonna let Freddie survive today because he got to get past round one this time. He ain't got past round one in the debate tournament in a minute. So let's see what he got this time with them little smoke pellets he be carrying around. Anyways, Go ahead, Nate. You said you had some smoke. You wanted to get something off your chest. The
Okay.
platform is yours. Go take the big screen. Go ahead.
All right. Before I change the slide, I'm going to take the big screen here. Hold on. So this was not posted by anybody on the network. This was posted from somebody outside of the ASAP network. But they gave everybody, this person gave who their opinion is on their best player from each team in the NBA season this year. Some of them, okay, I agree with it. Denver being Nikola Jokic, I agree with that. But there's others that I don't agree with. And I just think I don't know what's going on in his head, but you know what? I'm going to exit the solo layout, and why don't you guys check it out? To start off, the Philadelphia 76ers, Dwight Howard, really?
Yeah, that's blasphemous.
Isaiah Thomas, really? For the New Orleans Pelicans?
Yeah, this should count as a failed drug test.
Yeah. This definitely failed drug test.
John Morant not being the Grizzlies.
Jonas, this is trolling. This is trolling. Come on, man. You can't take this serious. This has Derrick Rose for the Knicks, and he just got to the team. Like, he played like 5 games.
No, Isaiah Thomas at the Pelicans.
He just signed up a day. Like,
he's been there for total 24 hours.
Yeah, it's just trolling, man. Yeah, you can't say that no more.
This hurt my eyes.
Yeah, this is trolling.
This is the definition of trolling, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
whoever posted this, they should never be allowed to talk basketball for the rest of the season.
Yeah. They should be in Facebook jail.
Straight up.
We need a 30-day for you. Somebody get him a 30-day. Get this man a 30-day. For real. Moving on.
Change the slide rule.
All right, let's jump straight into it. Man, the draft ain't even here yet, and the frenzy has just over the last 2 weeks has just heated up. It's like hot grease in the pan. Like, QBs is flying around. QBs is moving up the draft board. We're seeing pieces just fall right. Nate, I'm gonna start with you. Do you feel? This is a 2-part question. Do you feel like there's going to be a QB that's going to be traded before the draft? And if so, who will it be?
I'm going to answer your second part first. I'm going to answer your second part first because I don't really think that there's going to be, in the offseason, I think there's only going to be one quarterback traded. Left. What's remaining in the offseason? You already had some big trades like Nick Foles, Matthew Stafford, but the one quarterback left that I feel like is going to get traded is Jimmy Garoppolo. A lot of people are saying that he's probably going to the Patriots, but I don't think so because they already signed Cam Newton that contract. So unless if they want Jimmy Garoppolo to be the backup, I can't see that happening. So I have him going to Denver. But to answer that first part of the question, when is I don't know. There's a month left, so maybe, but I don't know if it's going to be before or after.
Well, for me, I think it's going to happen before the NFL draft, and I think the guy that's going to be traded is going to be Jimmy G. San Francisco is doing their due diligence to to, they were at Ohio State's pro day. They were at Alabama's pro day. So it's clear that they're going to take a quarterback with this pick that they traded up for. So I just don't, I think they want to clearly do a reset in terms of the quarterback position, and Jimmy G is not in their future plans. So I think to avoid the whole controversy or to avoid the whole issue of who's the starter, I think they just move him on draft day and see if they can get some later round picks. And I think that he gets traded on. I think Jimmy G gets traded before the NFL draft.
Jay kind of froze up in a weird spot.
Yeah,
I
there
know
he
I
is.
got off topic, but you're like,
Nah, Jay, I was just saying that I think it's going to be Jimmy G. I think that San Fran has basically, they're going to do a reset, and I don't think that they want to have their whole quarterback controversy of having picking either Matt Jones or Justin Fields at that third pick, and they have Jimmy G still there and say who's the starter, who's going to be the starter from week to week. Those questions. So I think they try to move him and get some later round picks, and just reset their franchise. So I think Jimmy G is the guy that gets traded, and before the draft. I take that back. Either before the draft or on draft day.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be dumb for San Francisco to hold on to him and trade him after the draft.
Mm-hmm.
His value would just shoot down to me. So I think they would have to either trade him before or, like you said, on draft day. Honestly, I think that we've seen most of the trades that are gonna happen.
I agree.
Do you guys don't think Deshaun Watson doesn't get traded at some point?
Not
No.
before draft. Before the season starts. Deshaun Watson's a touchy subject. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
I don't think he's going to get traded, period. I think he's going to stay.
No, he's not going to stay. He won't play this year.
Yeah, I think he'll. Yeah, I agree. I think he'll sit out.
Yeah, he'll sit out before he goes back.
Another down for
That's
the
what I
Texans.
meant. That's what I meant. I don't see him playing for another team.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Texans will trade him as opposed to having him sit out for the whole season. They get nothing for him.
Agreed.
So I think they just take 50 cents on the dollar and just get him out of town and just get a clean slate.
100%. And I think that all is kind of sitting around how these first couple of days of some sort of court case filing. So I think that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting for a gavel to strike at least one time, so we can see what's presented as kind of like charge or how we're going to go, what route we're looking at. I think everyone's still kind of deer in the headlights on this. But before the draft, no. Draft day, yes. And it will be Jimmy. I mean, stay with the quarterback thing. Let's move on to the Jets. Now, the Jets are in a real particular situation. They're on their own. I mean, what do they got? Number 2. They got number 2. And they have a choice between kind of athletic, kind of a guy that looks like he's ready, and then kind of Mr. Smooth, I like to call. I kind of like to call Matt Mr. Smooth. So, where do you go? Do you go that way, or do you go out and grab Foles to kind of sit there and let whoever you draft sit for 1 year? Kenny, what do you think?
I think you trade for Nick Foles either way, regardless of who you quarterback or who you draft, because you need that veteran mentor for that guy, and and also he's a guy that you could plug in if they decide to start, the draft pick, start the season and he winds up struggling, you can plug Foles in and he can, make something happen for a few weeks. So I think either way they should do it. regardless of who they pick. And if it's not Nick Foles, then some veteran quarterback they're going to need to bring there to kind of help those guys to help them, learn the ropes.
Exactly. We were kind of talking about this earlier, Nate, before we came on air. You were kind of telling me, I mean, where do you lean on this?
To be honest with you, I think, with that number 2 overall pick, I think they should just draft Wilson, but that's not the topic. I think it was a mistake to trade Darnold. I think, if you trade for Nick Foles, I think that would be better than what they have now. But I think it was, keeping Darnold would have been a better option for them.
Why? Do you think they're going to win more games with Darnold? Do you think that he's going to learn more from Darnold? Like, what is it that makes Darnold more separated?
He's going to learn. I think he's going to learn more from Darnold, especially since Adam Gase is not the coach. I mean, you look at Sam Darnold when he wasn't with Adam Gase. Look at the very first game. First game against the Detroit Lions, where final score was 47-7 in 2017. So I think with Nick Foles, he's a system quarterback. He doesn't do well in the NFL except under I'm blanking on the coach. The guy that used to coach for the
Chip Kelly.
Yeah, Chip Kelly. So I think Nick Foles anywhere other than with Chip Kelly, I just think is not great for.
I mean, but one thing you can't take from the guy, and there's not many quarterbacks that you can either say that you can look at and say have done this, or he can even provide you this. He played in the Super Bowl. Not only did he play in the Super Bowl, he won a Super Bowl.
That's right.
So I hear where you're coming with the Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold cannot tell you about winning. There's no way, if, ands, or buts, unless he's playing Mario Kart. So there's no way that we're going to have those two, you know what I mean? So I get where you're coming from, but I'm going to take a flip side of this. I think it puts their quarterback that they're drafting in a beautiful position. It says, hey, it don't even matter if this was about them when they made the move, but it says, hey, we knew we were drafting you. The world didn't know. We knew because Trevor Lawrence was already gone. He wasn't even in here. I knew who I was drafting. I wanted to clean house. I wanted to make your bed. I wanted to shine up this bathroom. I wanted to show you my hospitality. That's why we got rid of Sam Darnold. That's also why I say you don't sign Nick Foles. I get where we're coming from. We need a vet. Well, guess what? How about Mr. Inspirational? Go get Alex Smith. Go get Alex Smith. Sit Alex Smith over there. Let Alex Smith tell you about hard work. Because nobody can tell you about hard work better than Alex Smith can.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean? Let him teach you how to stay in the gym. Let him teach you how to study this film room. Let him teach you those things. Because Sam Darnold ain't going to teach you that. And then, on top of that, Sam Darnold, my last one, because he ain't going to have more knowledge to bring to the table than Nick Foles. So, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. We're aiming for top 3 next year. I'm looking to see what on my team. I just signed Corey Davis. How's he gonna look? Okay, he looked like a number 2. Oh, we made a mistake. We need another receiver. So now let's go out here and get a receiver to pair with whoever we drafted this year. So I'm still looking for top 3 pick next year. I don't care about the wins this year. I want someone to study the film, put his head down, get ready for next year when we get our next incoming draft pick. That's what I'm looking for.
You also got to look at the asking price, because what was his asking price when he was with Jacksonville and when he was with Chicago?
It's not going to be that high. Yeah. I was going to say, it's not going to be that high of an asking price for Nick Foles, because he's kind of started to, make his rounds. He's trying to turn it into that journeyman, which is crazy to say, winning the Super Bowl and being an MVP.
Correct.
Now he's kind of turning into a journeyman because these last 2 stops, he hasn't been able to hold on to the starting job. But you make a great point, Jay, about Alex Smith. Because like you say, you get somebody that knows the value of hard work, that knows, that's been in this league for a long time, that's been a number one pick.
Yeah.
So, he knows that pressure of, being a
How to
high
come
draft
in.
pick. Yeah. So yeah, you make a great point.
Yeah. I mean, you got to look at it from all aspects of how, and I forgot about that part. Being the number one pick part, like, hey, man, don't do this. Don't fall down this path. Turn left
Right.
here. Because if you go
Right.
straight, this is on the other side.
Right.
So there's a lot of aspects to it. And honestly, to me, Sam Darnold was the worst one out of the two we just talked about to be the man for that. So I want somebody to teach my dude how to win, not go party. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you got to, whoever this draft pick is going to be, they're coming into the same situation as Sam Darnold. They really don't. You don't have a whole lot of offensive talent, so you might be seeing the same thing. Like you said, they're going to be playing for another high draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have to give whoever this quarterback is, you're going to have to give him at least 3 years to be able to see whether or not he's going to be the guy.
Yeah, and he needs a red shirt this year. Their team is awful. Their team is awful.
Well, I mean, or it's not redshirt. Play half the season. Start them. After the bye, and then let them finish off the second half of the season.
Yep.
So you get some experience and get some snaps. Game reps. Yeah.
What's his name? The dude that was there in the backup for San Francisco last year that they didn't re-sign.
Mullins?
Yeah. Mullins, that's another dude to me that I would throw into the system because yes, he's gonna challenge whoever we get, but it's not no big investment and he's not gonna be your long-term quarterback. So this is someone just to give this guy some flair in practice that we know can throw the football. We know, but he's hit his ceiling already. So that's another option out there. But moving on and staying in kind of with these quarterbacks, it's quarterback Thursday, y'all.
Yeah.
But Justin Fields. We had a reporter by the name of Dan Orlovsky, and he just went in on him. He really did. He just went in on him. What do you think about that, Kenny? What do you think about what he was talking about? Is there any truth to it? Is he out of line?
Yeah, I think he was out of pocket, man. And I'm tired of this always happening to the black quarterbacks. From the Cam Newtons, even to the Deshaun Watson. You had these reports come out before the draft that, could potentially, and it did hurt Deshaun Watson's draft stock because he wound up dropping. So, I'm just tired of this because it doesn't come out. This doesn't happen with the white quarterbacks. We gotta keep it. This is real talk, so we're gonna have real talk. Like this doesn't happen with the white quarterback, and you can't be going off of unless you was in that locker room and you talk to that guy. I don't want to hear no reports, or I don't want to hear stuff that you heard from other people. If that's something that you're gonna report, then you should have been able to have a conversation. You should have made a trip to Ohio State. And you should have talked to some people within that program to validate that before you throw that stuff out there so recklessly. So I'm just really, I'm really down on Dan Orlovsky, because he was a dude that was riding for Philly's quarterback. His name just escaped me, Carson Wentz. And that dude was, he kept on caping up for him all season long, and he never got the job done. And so now you just lost more credibility to me in my book. You was a journeyman quarterback as it was. So I just get tired of these guys coming out, between the Indianapolis GM, I can't remember his name, but he was another one that was throwing dirt on black. Matter of fact, I think it was Lamar Jackson. He said he should have moved to wide receiver. So I'm just tired of these guys throwing dirt on, black quarterbacks and hurting their draft stock or hurting their, draft position. And it just doesn't happen. It's the same standard. You never hear these things about white quarterbacks. You heard a little bit about Baker Mayfield, but that was reported. So there was nothing to refute. It was never no speculation. This stuff was on record. So it was nothing to speculate. There's always these speculations that come out about the black quarterbacks. It's unfounded. I'm just tired of it.
Correct. No, that was well said. I mean, I'm gonna jump on and kind of second, and follow right behind you on this. You got your Matt Leinards with pictures of him doing, keg stands and beer bongs and things like that. Yeah, those things, like you said, that's evidence. That's right there. There's no ifs, ands, or but. You can't get mad at me for bringing that up. You did it. You got caught with it.
That's
These
right.
are things that I heard from him that told me his sister's brother, auntie's uncle was the towel boy who was walking by and heard through the crack. Like, these are the type of things that they bring up and try to damage and try to, disrupt what should happen. And, you said it, like, we had the Cam Newtons. We had Deshaun Watson now. And, just like I said last week, we're so quick. We're so quick to pull the rug out from under the black quarterback after an allegation. And, as much as I hate to say the black quarterback and the young black, but that's what it is. Time and time again. And we're not about to sit here and act like these other guys don't do nothing. No, they're protected. They're protected. The way that they're treated is different. The way that when things come out, the way people respond to it, how they respond to it, when they respond to it. They don't even put it on the same platforms. And again, I'm going to go back. Again, Wheeler. Again, we still have never heard anything else from that dude. You know what I mean? And he beat on a woman. And it's evidence. There's evidence.
Right.
Evidence.
Right.
How? How is it we can just pretend like, oh, that's all right. He did this. We're going to punish him. Yeah, but we've been talking about this Deshaun Watson stuff for how many weeks straight? Every single day. It's the headline in the morning. How can this be the biggest story every morning? And it's allegations. You know what I mean? We need some more. I don't want to use the word fairness because life ain't fair, period. But we need some more, levelness, to these type of things and these type of situations, because it's really sickening. This dude went out and had the most athletic performance out of all the quarterbacks available, and this comes out.
Exactly.
Say something about what you saw. Say something about what you saw. That's your job.
Yeah, and say something about Mac Jones overthrowing and missing receivers. You know what I'm saying, on a pro day against Air. Talk about that.
Talk about
not
a
talking
real
more about that?
observation
That's what I'm saying.
that you made.
And it's not just quarterbacks as well. You look at what happened to Elliott a few years ago.
Yeah.
He got suspended. He got suspended in year 2, and they actually eventually figured out that the person who was making up these allegations was lying. So it's not just quarterbacks, even though quarterbacks is like the most popular position in the NFL. But it's other positions too, like what happened with Elliott.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I hate it, to be honest.
No,
I hate what's going on.
It's the profile. Once you get to a certain level on the staircase, walking up that staircase, they think you're going to reach that top. The first 2 floors, anybody can reach them first 2, but do you have the endurance to make it through them other ones? So once you start reaching certain heights and they start seeing it, especially that young, they know how a phenom is created. They knew what Cam Newton was before Cam Newton came. They saw it. They saw what he was doing. And even now, man, they hate on Cam so bad. So bad. What did he do? He got hurt and had a year bad, and now he's not capable of doing it. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a microcosm of society because we're held to a different standard, and it just it's carrying over into the NFL. And just salute to these guys, the Russell Wilsons, to the Patrick Mahomes, salute to the Lamar Jackson.
yes.
These are all guys that are MVPs. And, there's no question. in spite of what sometimes, the hoops that we have to hurdle, they still are out there getting the job done. So,
Correct.
I just wanted to make sure we said that because it just needed to be said.
Correct. Yep. No, 100%. And we're not even gonna go up on Dan anymore. We're not
Yeah,
paying
you
him more
get no
light to his
energy.
thing. We're
Yeah.
gonna close the door on that dude and move on from him and worry about the stuff that matters. So that's it for Dan. Quarterback Thursday, y'all. I told y'all. Quarterback
Sure.
Thursday. Again, I'm gonna jump off on this one.
Yeah.
On this one, this is totally different. This has nothing to do with the NFL. This is a business investment. You got stockholders investing in your company and different other things that you got to amend to and to please. So I understand this. I understand whether it was completely terminated. We don't know. They could have had a meeting and said, "Hey, for right now, we need to stand back so we don't damage any future, positions that we could have with each other when this is clear."
Well, I think they said Nike suspended and then Beats
Correct.
by Dre terminated.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Beats is not. I mean, they're big. Don't get me wrong. Beats is not Nike. So
Yeah.
if I'm gonna have one terminated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, I understand the stance on the companies. I totally do. You're talking a totally different aspect. You're talking about a guy, one person that can tarnish and really damage something that you have going on that will not only affect you, but other people outside of your immediate company base. So I definitely understand where they're going on that.
Well, for me, I just think, I'm okay with Nike's stance in terms of, suspending. To me, that's the more, prudent decision to not actually, end a relationship, but just put it on hold until everything has been, it's gone through the courts and, things have been decided and the truth and everything, comes out. So I understand that. I kind of take a little issue with Beats by Dre by terminating it because you don't know whether or not these accusations are actually credible. So if I'm Deshaun Watson and it comes out and then I'm vindicated or my name is cleared, I'm suing Beats by Dre because for lost wages and for the whatever money that cost me, these guys severing this relationship, I'm going back and I'm suing them because you kind of jumping out the window, just going off these accusations. And one, no one knows the names of any of these ladies. None of them has pressed any criminal charges. This is all civil. So you know what I'm saying? So we're talking about sexual assault, and this Me Too movement. Bill Cosby's in jail. Harvey Weinstein's in jail. So now you're going to tell me that you got 22 ladies and not one of them presses any criminal charges? Like, it just doesn't sit well, and it does not, it sounds more money than anything else. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, to me, like you can't. And for me, if I'm Deshaun Watson and Beats by Dre, you're gonna end the relationship off of these, off of this speculation or off a bunch of, news cycle stories. Like, I'm going hard and making sure that my name is cleared. And when my name is cleared, I'm going to get that bag from Beats by Dre, and I'm going to holler at their competition and signing with them an endorsement deal.
Yeah, because at the same time, if I'm Goodell, my door is shut and locked. Don't even knock at my door if you ain't got no criminal. This civil stuff can happen. You guys can do whatever you want civilly.
That's right.
It's not my business. My business is not directed with your civil affairs. Now,
that's right.
You coming up with criminal stuff that is directly related to me.
Personal conduct policy.
That is directly related to me. So, until you get some criminal stuff, I don't even know why. To me, as soon as they start blasting it with all the allegations and he did this and I'm going to post this, I'm deframed. Nope. Nope. You're not defacing my stuff. So I don't know, man. I just think that they attack us, and the media allows it. The media jumps behind it. The media pushes it. They kick the door open. They give them the key codes, and they let it go.
Go ahead, Nate.
To be honest, when it's going towards this part, I agree. I don't have a problem. I'm going to repeat what y'all just said, but I don't have a problem with what Nike did because it's just a suspension of contract. We don't know exactly what entirely is going on. Beats, I disagree with. But let's just go back to the part where we don't know exactly what's going on. We don't know any name of the 22 women out there. I am reading a report right now that says that Watson's lawyer is granting emergency hearings over women's ID, but there's no name has been released. It's civil. So really, we don't know what's going on. So that's the only part of all of this that I actually have an opinion towards.
I mean, it sounds like we're all pretty much the same. I mean, show your face. Mm-hmm. Don't snitch and run. Show your face.
That's right. Yeah, because this is a serious accusation. Like, if you have been violated sexually, then you should be going to your local precinct and filing a complaint. And it should have been investigated by the authorities. It should have been investigated by the police, and not one, all 22. You know, it came out early. The Houston PD said that there was no criminal complaint, there was no charges that were filed for this. So,
and some of them went back multiple times. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it just doesn't sit well.
It's not at all. All right, y'all. That was the end of Quarterback Thursday.
Quarterback Thursday.
No, but let's switch gears. Let's go over here to the NBA. We'll stay with the draft kind of category. Who are your top 3 NBA lottery picks, Nate? Who do you think?
No matter. So I think number one, number one I think should be more of an obvious answer, and that's Suggs. For the Minnesota Timberwolves. Suggs from Gonzaga is what I'm trying to say. Whether it's the Timberwolves would take.
But he's from Minnesota, so that would be perfect.
We went right with it, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. But what I'm trying to say is, whoever gets that number 1 pick, I think that Jalen Suggs guy should be taken. Number 2, I'm kind of blanking on his name.
What's the school? We'll help you out.
OSU.
Oh yeah, Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, I know that they got eliminated early, but the entire March Madness was just completely. This was the definition this was the definition of an upset. And number 3, I'm going with Evan Mobley from USC. Is a center.
Yeah, I can't fight with you on those for sure. Kenny?
I'm kind of torn for the number 1 between Cade Cunningham and Suggs. Like, they're both. I'm a guard guy, and I love Jalen Suggs' game, but I love Cade Cunningham's size. He just brings another element with that size. So if I had to pick one, I'm just gonna go with Jalen Suggs, and really for the reason that assuming that Minnesota gets the number one pick, because basically they're trending in that way to have the most chances in the lottery. So if it does work out that they get that pick, I just would love to see him to be able to play in his home area. You get that guard and big combination of him and Cat. I think they could, have a chance to really finally kind of turn things around there in Minnesota. So I'm going to go with him number one and Cade Cunningham number two. Now the third, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to go with the young guy, Jalen Green, that just played in the G League. I think that kid has some special athleticism, and I just think he has the potential to be, in today's open court game, and where guys are getting up and down. I just think he has a chance to be really special. I do like Evan Mobley as well because he can post and he can play inside and outside. But I'm just going on potential and just the freakish athleticism because this dude is a freak athlete. So I'm gonna go Jalen Green with my third.
Yeah, I'm gonna start down at that bottom. I like Jalen Green. I like even Evan Mobley. My long shot pick is gonna be Keon Johnson from Tennessee.
Okay.
And depending on what he does in his pro days, depending on how he comes out, what he looks like, he might squeeze into that top three. And I really can't depending on the team.
Definitely.
This is definitely gonna be drafted outside of the top three. So outside of that, when it comes down to Cunningham and Suggs, if you ask me before the tournament started, it'd be Cunningham all the way.
Yeah.
But I said right here before the tournament started, the tourney is what makes legends. To me,
Right.
the tourney, you have a good team, you don't win. You need that one player that can say, I'm better than you. And no matter who you put on me, these next 3 minutes of this game, of a 2-point game, you're not beating me because I'm better than you. And Jalen Suggs showed that. There was games where I thought, I don't know how Gonzaga is going to pull this one out. This is not looking like one of those. It's looking like one of those Gonzaga years.
Let's do that Final Four game. That's for sure.
Yeah, like how is he gonna? Man, that half court, yeah. And I'm gonna tell you another thing.
Crazy.
I'm gonna tell you another thing. And people can say what they want to say. I believe sports. They want stories.
Mm-hmm.
Take that how you want to take it. I believe sports. They want the story. So Suggs has already started writing. Suggs has already started writing his Hall of Fame intake speech. Not many people are going to be able to say, when I hit the game-winning shot, I went and jumped up and did my Kobe and did my, you know what I mean? Not many people have those moments.
That is true.
You know what I mean? And he was already set up on the stage, to get that going and have those big moments coming. He was already set there before the tournament started. So again, we keep talking. We could be talking about him instead. He didn't have that. We could be talking about him. We could be talking about the freshman from Baylor, whom I think needs to stay another year. We could be talking about him, which we almost were. We was almost talking about him jumping into that top 3 category because of the win. So again, I think Jalen Suggs takes over Cunningham just for that factor, that it factor. Cardiac Kimber.
Yeah.
Cardiac Kimber.
Yeah. So, yeah, and like you said, these are the where you make your name in the NCAA tournament. Cardiac Campbell, Wally Zerbiak, Stephen Curry, the list goes on and on. Guys who just coming out NCAA tournament, and he was already a top 5 pick going into the tournament, and I just think I think you're right. I think he probably cemented himself as that top prospect based off of what he did. And then Cade Cunningham also struggled in the NCAA tournament. The first game he struggled from the field, and that second game he didn't have a good game.
He looked like himself.
So Yeah. I just, I don't know, if the bubble got to him. I don't know if he was kind of ran out of gas,
It's the
because he
play
played so many
style.
minutes.
It's changing conferences. It's
I don't know, the other factors. But yeah, I think Jalen Suggs has got to be the number one, and then you go from there.
yeah, definitely. No, definitely. Moving on, staying here in the NBA. There's two teams that are lights out in the East. Lights out.
There.
76ers and the Nets. The Sixers, they played Boston and really put a whooping on Boston. Made Boston look like irrelevant, if you ask me. Kenny, do the Sixers are they going to overtake that spot and overtake the Nets spot for that number one seed, or the Nets kind of have that a lot with KD coming back?
Actually, I think they are. Reason being, I think more so because the Nets are going to take their foot off the gas as opposed to the Sixers overtaking them. I think that the Nets are going to rest guys and kind of, cut minutes down and kind of load manage these next 20 games or so to make sure that KD's healthy, to make sure that Harden is healthy, to make sure that big three, to make sure that Blake is, as healthy as possible going into the playoffs. I think they want to try to make sure that they're as healthy as possible because the 1 or the 2 seed, I don't think it's going to matter to them. I think it matters more to the Sixers than it does to that. So I think it's really, not especially now that MVP's back, and I think SB wants to make a run for that MVP. So I think they're going to just keep their foot on the gas all the way to the end of the season, and I think they'll overtake the Nets as the 1 seed.
Okay, Net, is that something you agree with, or?
So I agree that the Nets have that seed locked, but I do have a feeling that there's going to be little pockets, little moments that the 76ers might be hot, but then the Nets take that up and eventually win it. I just think it's because I think these two teams are so good that it's probably going to be close, and it really depends on strength of schedule. But I think the Nets will hold off at the end.
I mean, if the Nets play anything like they played last night,
Jeez.
There's no team in the NBA.
They were toying with those guys. It was like they were playing around with them. Like they were doing whatever they wanted to do. It was crazy.
This is like a 2K all NBA team, and they just pick a random year in the 2000s.
And Harden was on the bench and shorts.
Kevin Durant, they over there and the funny thing to me, the funniest part, I don't know if you guys watched the game or were listening to the game. The announcers are like, "Where's Kevin Durant?" He's still in the back. I wonder where they're gonna bring him out. You know what I mean? Like they're whooping.
And then just comes out and doesn't miss a shot. Comes out and doesn't miss a shot, dude. It's just crazy.
Hey, I don't care. Nobody says either. Kyrie Irving is playing like the best guard in the NBA.
I mean, like, yo, you gotta start talking about him. Especially now that Harden has went down. He's basically stepped in and played just like Harden. This dude is putting up 15 assist games, putting up 40 pieces, and so he's just playing on another level. And it's just like I said, it's Philly, it's New Jersey. I mean, it's Brooklyn, and then it's everybody else.
Yeah,
they're clearly on one tier, and everybody else is underneath them.
And I'll be perfectly honest with everybody. If Brooklyn was Brooklyn before the season started, it'd be Brooklyn and then everybody else. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, Philadelphia is lucky. Every team in the East is lucky that they built this throughout the year because if James Harden was there with Kevin Durant and Kyrie at day one of this season,
Yeah, it'd be
Kevin
scary.
Durant wouldn't have got hurt, and James Harden would, they would have been rotating this like this the whole season. So again, my answer is no. The Sixers will not overtake the Nets. Period. Now this one, however, will the Knicks finish as a top 6 seed? Nate, I'll let you go at this one first.
I don't think so. I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to finish top 16. I mean, I see them 7th. To be honest with you, I don't know how the Hornets are where they are right now. They have their 4th seed and they have 2 more wins than they do have losses. I see 5th through 7th moving up because you have teams like the 76ers, you have teams like the Bucks, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Celtics. I see all 3 of those moving up, and I see the Knicks moving up as well, but they're not finishing top 6. Top 7, sure. Top 6, no.
What about you, Kenny?
Yeah, I'm actually, I think they're gonna wind up being in that, that whole play-in game range. Because I think they're just starting to run out of gas. Julius Randle's gotten banged up. He's been playing a ton of minutes. RJ Barrett's coming on. But I just don't think the talent level, they just don't, and it's credit, and that's a credit to, Coach Tibbs, is that the fact that they've been so competitive with the lack of talent, they really don't have a whole lot of talent on that team. If you look at that roster, there's really, you got one all-star and you got one young up-and-coming guy in terms of RJ Barrett. But if you look at that roster up and down, there's really not a whole lot of talent on that team. Derrick Rose is, been in and out, so he can give them a little punch. But Kevin Knox is basically out of the rotation. Obi Toppin has struggled. You really don't have Peyton is more of a backup than he really is a starting point guard. So the fact that they're actually even in this position is a credit to Coach Thibodeau and the rest of that staff and the front office. But I just think that they're going to limp into either that 7 or 8. They might even fall to the 9. They might fall to the 9 because like Nate said, I think that the Hawks are coming. The Hawks have clearly have made a push since Nate McMillan has taken over, and they're making a push. I'm not sure about the Celtics. The Celtics are struggling right now. I think they got some problems. So I'm not sure about where they're going to finish up. They might fall down into that range and be where the Knicks are. But I think the Hawks are moving up, and the Hornets, losing young ball was a blow, but they still got some guys there. You got the Scary Terry, you got the Gordon Hayward, that can make plays and that can score. You got the young guy Miles Bridges. So they got some guys that can get it done. Malik Monk is another young guy that can get buckets, and PJ, another young fella from Kentucky. So they got some guys that can play. So they're kind of the next man up, and they're figuring it out. And so I just don't think that the Knicks. I think they're just going to run out of gas, and they're just going to limp into the playoffs as a low seed and wind up playing in those playing games.
Yeah, I said it a couple weeks back. I didn't think they were gonna, survive, even though they were doing what they were doing. They got out of their next games they have left. 15 of them are against playoff teams. It's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. And it's sad because I was rooting for the Knicks kind of throughout the season. Like, okay, you got a young squad, and really, Julius Randle is carrying around trees on his shoulders, man. He's doing
everything.
He looks like Anthony Davis in New Orleans. You know what I mean? Like, he's really doing everything out there. So it's gonna be a bad, way to see his season go out, but that's the way it's looking.
But like, as a Knicks fan, man, the fact that they're competitive, like, listen, we had nowhere to go but up. So, like, we can't, we're not gonna be greedy here. This is a step in the right direction, and you got the, it's a step in the right direction. You got 2 first-round picks. You probably got a high 2 because you got the choice pick, which is probably gonna be a really high second-round pick. So, we're building something, and I just like the direction that the team is going. I like the direction that between the coaches and the front office. I think they finally have a plan, and I think we're just headed in the right direction. And this is just, that step along the way.
Definitely.
This is definitely better than what we have been. So
you got that right.
Yeah,
I don't have to put a paper bag on my head anymore.
Yeah, no, it was like those baggies, like
Jeez.
stuff that goes inside the baggies when you walk
I
around.
could actually wear my Knicks gear in public and not be ashamed.
And dog owners be grabbing those bags out of the thing.
Man, listen.
No, man. So going away from the doggy bag, cleanup bags. Let's talk about that Western Conference showdown last night. Let's talk about that. Because, we saw, first of all, before we go into it, I got a question for both of you. Nate, you first. Is that a possible Western Conference Finals matchup?
I could see that. Really, I see one of 3 matchups, to be honest with you, for Western Conference. Really depending on how seeds land and stuff like that. Suns and Jazz. And I don't mean to be a complete homer, but Suns and Nuggets and Jazz or Nuggets. I see one of those 3 teams being the Western Conference.
So no Lakers, no Clippers?
No LA.
Yeah, I could see no, not Clippers.
Wait.
Lakers depends
Oh,
on
no Lakers? Oh boy, here we go.
No,
Q Freddie jumping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He gonna have a little.
Yeah, he's gonna jump in.
Depends on how their situation goes.
That's interesting. I am gonna say, you being a Denver fan, that has to do with it. That has to have something to do with you not throwing a single LA team in there. I will have to.
No.
But I will say this though, in your defense, Nate. Listen, we do not know if AD and LeBron are going to be, how healthy they're going to be, if they're going to be healthy. That's a real question. You could talk this Godzilla all you want to. Yes, LeBron has been, he's been indestructible, but Father Time is undefeated. And this guy's been in the league for a long time. Your body eventually is going to break down. And the high ankle sprain is known as the hardest ankle sprain to have to come back from. And this is a guy that relies on his athleticism. LeBron is not the greatest shooter, although he has improved as a shooter, but he relies on that speed. He relies on that quickness. He relies on that explosiveness. And so it's in question. So it's fair to say that there's a possibility that they may not make the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, that's definitely rough. Right now, the way it ends, if it ended today, Clippers and Nuggets draw each other in the first round.
That's
so
tough.
You'd have to eat your words early.
Yeah, that's tough. That ain't no walk in the park.
No
walk, especially now you got Rondo and Boogie. Boogie coming in there doing work in his 15 minutes, getting points and rebounds. We gotta watch out for the Clippers.
I know, but the Clippers.
No, that's the Lakers. If it ends today, it's the Lakers and Nuggets.
Oh, okay. Oh, phew. Let AD and let a healthy AD and LeBron come back. That's no walk in the park.
That's the question, though. Is if
it is. No,
we don't know, right?
Yeah,
that's the $1 million question.
That is the only reason why I don't have the Lakers in that.
I understand.
I really don't know. I really don't
Okay.
know if they're going to
That
put
makes
that.
sense. That makes sense. I can get that.
Totally makes sense.
Kenny,
But
where
for
you at
the,
with it?
yeah, I just think the Suns. It's hard to go from not making the playoffs to going from not making the playoffs to going to the Western Conference. That's a big jump for guys that especially the young guys like Aiton and Booker that have never been in the playoffs. And Chris Paul never made it to the Western Conference Finals. You know what I'm saying? So that's a tall order. So I'm gonna say it was not. I do, and I even have questions about the Jazz. It's not just the Suns. I have questions about the Jazz too, because the game slows down, and other than Donovan Mitchell and maybe Mike Conley, who else on that team can get their own shot?
Rudy Gobert, apparently.
No, he can't get his own shot.
That was a joke.
I know, right? If it's not a lob, then he can't score.
He can't buy his own shot.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's hard. When the game slows down in the playoffs, you got to be able to make plays, and you got to be able to, make be a shot maker and be able to create this offense for yourself. So I'm just not sure if they have enough offensive firepower to be able to advance to the Western Conference Finals. But I will say this about the Suns: I think in the next 2 years, I think Chris Paul, because the way he keeps himself in shape, and how smart he is as a player, I think if he's there in the next 2 to 3 years, that they will make it to the Western Conference Finals. I just don't think it will be this year.
Okay. First of all, it was a great game. Donnie Mitchell is a fantastic player. That dude is retarded on the basketball court. Devin Booker is crazy on the basketball court. Fantastic player. But even with both of those players doing what they did, something about Chris Paul, something about watching a basketball game, whether it's he's playing on your team or playing against your team, there is something about watching Chris Paul basketball that is just magnificent. There's just things that, I was gifted in being able to have Steve Nash as my, leader for years. And I tell you guys what, there was something about that guy too. It's just magnificent. The art form of basketball, you see it right in front of your eyes. Like Magic Johnson, Steve Nash, Chris Paul. I agree with you half-heartedly, as much as I hate to say it. It's going to be a long road, but I just want everyone to know, like I called this. We're going to finish in the top 3 this year. We probably won't go to the conference finals because it's too much. That's too much pressure. You're going, like you said, from the last team in the NBA to the second best team in the NBA. Top 3 in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Tough. That's
and
tough.
not only just hard to do, hard to accept and maintain if you're the number one guy in there. I mean, look at the squad. I mean, Ayton, Devin Booker, Bridges, they're all under 25.
Yeah. Yep.
25 or under. So it was a great show. Great game. Overtime was fantastic. We had big stars do big things. I really enjoyed that. That's basketball, man. I can't wait for 40 and 40.
Absolutely.
That was a preview last night. 40 and 40 is going to be crazy. I'm trying to see what actually, Nate, what's the score right now? The Phoenix Clippers.
In the first quarter, Clippers on top 27-23.
All right. So they got another battle. This is going to be a real test for Phoenix, the back-to-back. You just went out to Utah. What you going to do in LA? Are you going to show up? But one stat I wanted to throw out there, and this is something that we seen last year in the bubble that people weren't paying attention to, and why I said, man, we're going to be something to wreck with the next year. We have only lost 6 games on the road whole season.
That's big time.
Utah has lost 11 games on the road this season. They've only lost 2 at home. So I'm telling you, we're a solid team. We don't need to be playing at home. We play anywhere, anytime. We ready to go. So I really like that. But it's gonna be a long road, really long
And
road.
that makes a difference. This is not the bubble where you're playing on a neutral court.
Yep.
You're gonna have to go on the road, and now fans are getting let into these games. Fans are in attendance now, so you're gonna have to deal with some form of a road crowd.
Yeah.
So that it's gonna make a difference. The home court is definitely gonna be a factor in this year's playoffs.
Real quick, this wasn't a topic, but I'm still gonna ask it. Kenny, after watching Boston struggle so bad with Philly, what's next for them? If they finish 7th or 8th, what is next for them?
We talked about this. Me and Nate talked about this last week. Um, I said that it's time for Danny Ainge to go because he's had one championship in 18 years. He's coming up on almost 20 years in that role, and you have one championship to show for it. And you've had all of these, you've made all of these trades, you've gotten all of this draft capital, and all you have to show for it is Al
Jason Tatum.
Horford, Gordon Hayward. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. You got two great young draft picks in terms of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But other than that, what? Like, and then in this past trade deadline, we how many shows have we talked about the fact that they needed somebody in that front court that could score, and you make a trade for Fournier, and you trade away Daniel Tice, who's probably your best front court player.
That's what we were saying the whole time. That was my
That
favorite
made no
player over there.
sense. That made no sense to me.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I just think it's time for him to go because it's clearly something's wrong. Like they got, that I don't know, if it's talent, if it's chemistry issues, but something is wrong, and clearly they're taking a step back. And maybe I don't know, maybe Brad Stevens, maybe his voice is starting to ring hollow because at certain points, sometimes at certain times, players start tuning coaches out, and your voice doesn't carry the same weight that it used to carry. And I just think that it's time for it. And nobody talks about it. Danny Ainge has gotten a free pass. You know what I'm saying? You had Kyrie and you couldn't keep him. You know what I mean? You had Isaiah Thomas. You got rid of him, and you got nothing to show for it. So I just think it's time for him to go, man.
Yeah, it's time to break. If they don't finish above 6 and get out the first round, you got to break
it's time for him to go. Yeah,
you got to break them. Keep Jason, keep Jaylen.
Yeah, you keep that core.
Yeah.
You clean house. You get rid of Brad Stevens. You get rid of Danny Ainge, and you hire a coach. You hire a GM, and you let that GM bring in his coach, and you start over.
Definitely. Well, guys, move to the fun part of the show.
Oh,
rank them.
okay.
Rank them. Now, we got 3 young, very talented, kind of at different levels of their career here, even though they're a very young career. But where do we rank these 3? From the best to the least. We got Lonzo Ball, Trae Young, and Colin Sexton. Nate, I'll let you go first.
You said best to least. So
number 1 and number 3.
I'm going number 1, Trae Young, number 2, Colin Sexton, number 3, Lonzo Ball, in that order.
Okay.
Trae Young with with him over in Atlanta. I feel like he's more of a him on that rush. I feel like he's doesn't give it enough credit. Is what I'm trying to say. As what he deserves, is what he can do. I know that the past few years they haven't been the best team, but that particular player, and Lonzo Ball, I put him at number 3 because looking at stat wise, he fouls more often, doesn't score as much points as the other 2. So
Okay. Kenny, where you got him?
When it comes to point guards, I think there's a differentiator between the goods and the greats, and it's that take over the game. Like the great point guards are able to take over the game, and that's what separates the ones from the ones that are on that upper echelon. So having said that, I'm the same as Nate. Trey Young number one, Colin Sexton number two, and Lonzo Ball number three. But I will say this about Lonzo Ball: out of the three of them, he's the purest point guard. Out of the three of them, he's the best passer. I think out of the three of them. But I think that he's in a bad situation in New Orleans, and I don't understand for the life of me. Like I love Stan Van Gundy as a coach, but I don't know why he has Zion Williamson out there at the top of the key, playing like a point forward. It just makes no sense to me. He does pass. He's a decent passer, but Lonzo Ball has incredible court vision. And I just think,
Yeah.
I just think you're not using Zion to with that athleticism. He should be in the pick and rolls. Yeah, he should be in the pick and rolls and getting lobs and all of that stuff. He should not be initiating the offense. He should be finishing the offense. So
they got him looking like a Rodney Rogers or a tractor trailer running around out
there. Yeah. It's just that, like, just watching the game last night and seeing him at the top of the key and him trying to make plays. It's just not. It's just a failed experiment to me. And so, like, I had tweeted, I said, I don't agree with LeVar Ball a lot, but he's dead on about they're not using Lonzo Ball right. So, but having said that, again, my three is Trey Young one, Colin Sexton two, and Lonzo Ball. And real quick about Sexton, Sexton is a dog, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the type of dude like when he's coming at you. I remember early in the season I saw something where he went into the Nets locker room. They were playing the Nets all night, and he went up to Kyrie and said, "Yo, you're gonna have a long night." And then he went out there and gave him 40. Like that's what I'm saying. He's that type of dog. Like that's how he wants to smoke. He's not like Freddie. He wants all the smoke. He wants all the smoke. So I just want to say that real quick about Colin Sexton. So Trey Young, Colin Sexton, and Lonzo Ball.
I'd have to agree with you guys both as far as talent wise. I'm gonna rank them as far as this season, however. And Colin Sexton's number one, and then you got Trey, and then you got Lonzo. And it's that simple thing that you said, being able to take over a game. And the one thing that I think that Trey Young eventually will equip is that defense. I don't think he's that dog on defense. And Colin Sexton, when it's time to turn it on, he's a dog. Period. Both sides of the ball. He is a dog, and he's coming at you. Whether it's shoving the ball down the basket in your face, pulling up from the logo, hitting fadeaways, finger roll. Colin Sexton, he does it all. And I think this year he's really showed, his capabilities. He's had games, like you said, where he hit that 40. He had a double overtime game where I think he hit 50, and he scored like 22 straight points between the two overtimes on the team. So I think this year, we've seen a lot from Colin. The other thing is, to me, Trey Young, being his most talented team so far of his young career, he hasn't performed like he should. I think getting more weapons, you should perform better, not digress. You know what I mean? So I think he's done worse this year than he did last year, if you ask me.
But their record is better though. So
their record is better, but it just started getting that way. It just started. They just got hot. I know they were hurt in the beginning of the season, but that's the time for, if you're the dog that he is and you're supposed to be the franchise dude, that's the time you should have been hot. You should be chilling now that everybody's back and healthy. Now you let the offense flow. But when everybody hurt, you got to go in. So, and I commend Colin Sexton throughout all the trade rumors with Kevin Love, Andre Drummond, McGee, this, that, like their whole squad, they could have came to practice one day and only had 5 players eligible to play.
Right.
They were trying to trade the whole squad.
Right.
So I think Colin did a lot this year. He showed me a lot. I still think Trae Young's the most talented out of the 3. I think Lonzo Ball, has the most ceiling out of the 3. I think Lonzo Ball is the most talented right now, naturally, out of the 3, putting his height together with, his rebound capabilities, defensive capabilities, and everything else. But again, Ken, you said it yourself. He's not. He needs to leave where he's at. He needs to be on a team that wants him to be the guy. He definitely needs that. But with that being said, before we get up out of here, any last minute words, anything that y'all want to say before you go? Hot takes? Anything?
We haven't done top takes in a while. Yeah, I kind of said this before, but I'll say it again. This actually goes in the NFL, my hot take. I feel like even though I think the Green Bay Packers are going to get the most wins out of both these 2 divisions, I feel like the NFC East will have more wins than the NFC North. That's my hot take. Because I think that the Vikings, the Bears, and the Lions had digressed. They did not get better. They got worse. Packers did a little bit, but they haven't. I still think that they're going to win the division. I have them going at 6 wins. So, not 6 wins, 10 wins.
Okay. Freddie? Freddie. I'm thinking of I got something to say to Freddie.
Hey.
Oh, no, I'm gonna just end the show like we started the show. Freddie, you don't want this work. Just admit it that you're afraid. Just admit it that I intimidate you and that you have no chance with me in any shape or form of winning the debate. So you're going to make sure that you got out the first round. So you got one of the new guys. So you want to try to do a 116 matchup, but just say you duck me. Just say you don't want it. Just say you don't want this smoke because you're not on my level. That's all I got to say.
Man. Just for all the viewers out there that don't know what we're referring to, we're about to have another debate off, everyone. We just went ahead and slotted up the matchups here this week. I think we'll be starting it either this Monday or next Monday. We'll let you guys know. But
it's this Monday.
I'm always shooting for W's, and since we are talking about W's, before I let y'all go, all you Laker fans out there, this is for y'all, because y'all went out and got so much help this year. We were in last place, you guys. We told y'all, give us time. We're young. We're getting together. Trust the process. We're not going to abandon our people. We see what they have in them. We just going to trust the process. Went out and got Chris Paul, and now we number 1 in the Pacific. Just to be specific. Number 1 in the Pacific. Just to be specific. You know what I mean? So,
Talk your talk.
Hey, just Laker fans, Clipper fans, y'all keep moving your chips around. Y'all keep withdrawing and depositing the same amount of money. We see the transactions. They all look the same. It results in the L. Just give it up. We got the Pacific title this year. Just let it fall into our laps, and we'll talk to y'all next year about it.
There's a reason why I don't have the LA fans going in the Western Conference Finals. Just say it.
I don't know what that reason is. I just think they need to go get some different purple. The purple they got, don't go. Go get some different purple. Come down to the valley. We'll help you out. Anyways, man, till Monday.
Or
Actually,
different
Nate,
yellow.
you got a show after this, don't you?
No, I actually had a show before this.
It was before today.
My next show is tomorrow at noon for Sports Status.
Tomorrow at noon.
Yeah.
For what?
Sports Status. That's my next show.
Sports Status tomorrow at noon, Mr. Viewers. Catch him. Other than that, we will see you on Monday here at Real Talk.
All right.
Yeah, check it.